All righty. Okay, so today I think we're gonna work on we did hamstring. We did hamstring last time. Today we're gonna do hip flexor, what are the outer hip activation? Right, like outer hip activation, stretching through the inner thighs. I think that's what we'll focus on today, and get some movement. Alrighty. Let's see, you can still do that. And this. Okay, let's go ahead and start. And then towards the end, we'll continue to work on our we'll add the what Kiki is doing in gymnastics class, which is essentially, it was funny because like that's what they're doing in gymnastics class, which is like, handstand, wall facing handstand, and then like lowering down. And she's like, Mommy, I can touch my elbows. I'm like, Mommy's been trying to do that for 4 years now, which is the handstand to the crow. I didn't even teach her that at all. So she's like, Mommy, why can't you do this? All right, let's go ahead and start onto our back, hugging our knees into our chest, rolling and rocking from side to side, massaging out the low back. Ooh, that glute med. What are we gonna do about that glute med? Oh, my low back. Oh, that's like, I know what that's from. That's from sitting in the chair for like a 5-hour meeting yesterday and not moving. I can feel that. All right, rock and roll. Oh. All right, hug the knees into the chest, extend the legs up towards the sky, point and flex the toes, circle it out. I think the weather is so confused, right? Isn't it supposed to be cooler? Or is it, and then there was that terrible heat wave. I don't know. The weather is confusing. And then circle it out the other direction. And then take it out to a V, take it out wide. Ooh. And just kind of massage the inner thighs to kind of get it warmed up. And circle out the ankles. And place the hands down by your side. And you're going to slowly press the low belly. So you're going to use your low belly. You're going to use your low belly and contract the low belly, meaning you're going to pull the pelvic bone towards your sternum, which is going to press your low back into the mat. So instead of using the legs as momentum, you're using your low belly. You're using your low core. And then release. So your feet are going to move a couple inches, but you're really focusing on the low belly, this pulling action. So shortening from the pelvic bone to the sternum, and you're trying to pull this, and that pulls the legs, right? Instead of the legs moving towards you, it's from the low belly. And release, and then pull again. Now, can you activate through the hip flexor, right? So the low belly and the hip flexor. So it's low, so it's not the legs, not the quad that's pulling you and shortening. It's primarily the hip flexor and the low belly. You can feel that working. And release. Oh, release. So that's a different thing. We worked on I took a class last night on Galavasana. Getting that leg up, focusing on the hamstring was like a totally different thing. So today we're going to focus on the hip flexors and the low belly. So taking your legs out, we're going to do eagle. So we're going to cross the right and then double cross and squeeze. And then we're going to open, we're going to cross, and we're going to squeeze. So we're doing Garuda sprinkler legs. We're going to open, cross, squeeze. My feet are freezing. We're going to open, we're going to cross, and we're going to squeeze. I think we're going to open, cross, squeeze. And we're going to open, cross, squeeze. 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 2 more. And 1 more. and release. Whew. And stretch it out, stretch it out. Oh. Okay. All right, now we're going to take, let's see. We haven't done tuck and roll. So take the legs out long. We need to activate, differentiate between the hamstrings, the hip flexors, and the low belly. When to turn each one on, and how do we turn them all on at the same time? So extend the arms out long, give yourself a nice big stretch. Press the low belly into the mat. So activate this low belly active. I'm going to bring the hamstrings, right hamstrings first, and then into a tuck, hip flexors. So really activate less from the quads, and you're going to get quads in there, but you really want to focus on the hip flexors, right? So this is release hamstrings. We're going to keep the hamstrings. This is hamstrings activation. We're kicking our heels to our sit bone and squeezing like you're trying to squeeze a peanut. And then you're going to have the hip flexors. So into the tuck, 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 tuck. So you're really trying to smash down your thigh bones onto the rib cage. Right? But then without the hands. So without the hands, can you smash it down? And then back to hamstrings. Hamstrings plus hip flexors. Can you smash down your thigh bones? So take your arms and wrap it and really press your shin bones into the your thighs into the rib cage. Now, can you maintain that with releasing your arms? Can you maintain that with releasing your arms? That's your hip flexor. That's your hip flexor. That's your hip flexor. So back to hamstrings only. Now do it without your arms and bring the hip flexor. That's your hip flexor right there. Hip flexor right there. And then add that last element of your low belly. So that low belly curl, which is bringing that pelvic bone to your sternum. So hands overhead. You're gonna the hip flexors, like with your arms are wrapped around, but they're not wrapped around. And then add that final element of lifting your hips upward towards the sky. So instead of thinking about lifting your hips towards your forehead, think about lifting your hips up towards the sky. That's the direction of where we want to go. But we want to bring the pelvic bone towards the sternum, that last bit. So I know there's a lot going on. So let's try again. We'll do hamstrings. Squeeze the hamstrings, squeeze the hip flexors. That last bit goes up towards the sky, goes up towards the sky, goes up towards the sky, goes up towards the sky. And release one more time. One more time. So hamstrings first, then hip flexors.
Sorry, could you say that again?
See now, seriously, I'm like, and then lift the hips up towards the sky. Lift the hips up towards the sky, but don't release the hamstrings. Oh, and release. And release, release, release. All right, we haven't done core work in a while, like really concentrated core work in a while. All right, so we are going, now that your hip flexors are awake, that you know where they are, and your low belly is awake, you know where it is. All right, I'm gonna have to scoot over so I don't hit the couch here. All right. All right, I want to take our legs up towards the sky. Let's see. We're going to lower and hover our right. So keeping the low belly engaged. We're activating. We want to keep our hamstring and our hip flexor active, even though we are lowering down our leg and hovering an inch off the ground. So imagine that you're reaching long and you're pressing down on a spring. Imagine your heel is pressing down on a spring. So it's super active. Right? It's instead of just like, I don't want it to touch the ground, I'm actually actively pressing down on a spring on my right foot. And then we bring it back up. So your lower belly is super duper engaged. Then you're going to lower your left leg down. And like you're pressing the heel on a spring. And feel like your hip flexor is active, your hamstring is active, but it's active in a straight leg. Like both of those are active in a straight leg. That is going to engage the core in a very different way. And then we're going to bring it back up. Okay, release. Yeah, we're doing core today. Apparently we're doing core today. All right. Up towards the sky. We're going to lower the right leg down and hover. So press that spring. We're going to take the right leg out wide. So our right leg is out, I don't know, 3 o'clock, at 3 o'clock. And then you bring it back forward in front of you, still down, but forward. And then you're going to bring it back up and then release. I feel my low belly. It is, I definitely feel it in the low belly. When we have, it's like straight leg activation. So our legs are very active. Our hamstring is active, even though it is straight, it is active. So the hip flexors are active, the hamstrings are active. All right, bring the legs up towards the sky, activate what you need to activate, which is my hip flexors are active, my low belly is active. I'm lowering my left leg down, I'm reaching, I'm pressing that spring. I'm taking my left leg out to the side. I'm bringing it back in, and then I'm engaging through my low belly, I'm bringing it back up. So press down into the low belly, activate that low belly to sternum, lower the left leg down, hover, like you're pressing that spring, take it out to the side, anchor that right hip, bring it back to center, and bring it back up, and release. Okay. Take the legs up toward the sky, activate through the hip flexors, activate through the legs like you're pressing down on a spring. Right leg goes down, taking it out to the side. Left leg goes down to the middle, bringing it back up. Bringing the right leg back to the center, bringing the right leg back up. The left leg comes down. Left leg goes out to the side. Right leg goes down. Right leg comes up. Left leg comes to center. Left leg comes up. And release. Did we feel deep low belly muscles? Deep low belly muscles. Okay. Let us continue. Legs up towards the sky. Anchor into the low belly. Anchor into those hip flexors. Active through the legs. Right leg comes down. Right leg goes to the side. Right leg comes to the center. Right leg comes up. Left leg comes down. Left leg goes to the side. Left leg comes in. Left leg comes up. Okay, release. Legs up towards the sky. Right leg comes down. Right leg comes out. Left leg comes down. Left leg comes out. Left leg comes in. Left leg comes up. Right leg comes in. Right leg comes up. And release. Legs go up to the sky. Left leg comes down. Left leg comes out. Right leg comes down. Right leg comes out. Right leg comes in. Right leg comes up. Left leg comes in. Left leg comes up. And release. Release, release. And rock on up to seated. Whew. Hello. We have not done a lot of deep core in a while. Okay. Okie dokie. Block in between the ankles. Block in between the ankles or not. Block in between the ankles to help you activate your inner thighs. Squeeze the block. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the block. Roll the shoulders back and down. Tent the fingertips. You want to try to lift your legs without trying to rock back, right? We don't want to lift the legs from the momentum of us rocking back. We want to strengthen our hip flexors, right? because we don't really work on our hip flexors, and our hip flexor strength is required in a ton of like arm balances and poses and so many things, but we never work on hip flexor strength. It's used for like pike, for so many things. And in yoga, we don't ever like strengthen it. So, and hip flexor strength is used for forward folds, V-sits, or like straddles. Using so many. Okay, squeeze the inner thighs, roll the shoulders back and down. You can touch your fingertips here and lift. And this is hip flexor, low belly and lower. Yeah. So we're going to lift and lower and lift and lower and lift and lower and lift and lower. Squeeze the inner thighs. You have the block. Use a lighter block. Anything that will actually get you to activate your inner thighs. Roll the shoulders back and down and lift and hold for 1. And lift and hold. So you want to actually try your best to get to that anterior pelvic tilt, right? Because if you're in posterior pelvic tilt, you're using momentum. Instead, try to get as far into that anterior pelvic tilt. This forces you to use your hip flexors. You're going to feel in the quads, but we really want to get to those hip flexors. So squeeze. The more you squeeze your inner thighs and lift, and try to get the primary into the hip flexors, and that might take a while, right? Because I feel it in my quads a lot. I want to try to get into my hip flexors. I want to try to get into the posterior pelvic tilt and lift. And last one. And release. Oh, that looks good today. That looks really good. All right. Coming into all fours. Let's get moving. Oh, let me line up my mat here. Coming into all fours. Tuck the toes. Lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Whew. Right leg comes up towards the sky. So look what here. We're in straight leg. We were here before, right? Our legs are split. We were on our back. Yeah. So can you activate both sides of the leg and reach further? Like you're trying to touch the sky with your right toe, right foot in between the hands, runner's lunge. Rock forward, rock back, back foot to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhaling all the way back up, floating arms up towards the sky, and close the pose. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back, high plank. Lower down. Inhaling up dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, press it back, downward facing dog. Inhaling, left leg comes up towards the sky. Reach like you're trying to touch the sky. Feel how much longer your left leg feels. Right, what was active when we had split legs on our back? Right, like feel that engagement in your low belly. Left foot in between the hands, runner's lunge. Ooh, back foot to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhaling all the way back up, floating arms up towards the sky, and close the pose. Inhale. Exhale, swan dive forward. You're gonna have to grab your block so it's near you. Inhaling halfway up, exhale, plant the hands, step it back, high plank. Lower down. Inhaling up to a cobra. Inhale, cobra. Tuck the toes, press it back, downward facing dog. Inhaling, right leg comes up towards the sky. Right foot in between the hands, runner's lunge. Take the block. Take the block and plant it like right in the middle. Next to your foot, next to your right foot. So you can put your hands down on it. And really get deeper into your runner's lunge. You're going to press here so that you can see the other side. So I have my block here. I'm going to, in the runner's lunge, I'm going to sink down, rock it open, and I'm going to press into the block, and I'm going to round or float my right foot. So my right knee is in my right tricep, right? So my foot's off the ground, and I'm rounding. And I'm pressing back into this kind of one-legged down dog onto the, my hands are on the block, my right leg comes down, my left leg comes up, my left foot comes forward, and I'm rocking forward and back, getting a deep runner's lunge. Press down into the block, and float my foot. So keeping my knee into the tricep and round. round, round. Like really dome through the rib cage. And then step it back. One-legged down dog, lower leg down. My hands are onto the block. So I'm getting it really deep into the core as I'm kind of doing a high plank, a one knee to chest, high plank, but I'm on a block. And that allows me to round my rib cage even more, to get more rounding into my rib cage, more engagement into my core. So my right foot's gonna come to the outside of the block. I'm gonna rock forward and back and get deeper into my runner's lunge. And then I'm gonna round, I'm gonna dome, I'm gonna press straight arms, I'm gonna dome. Right, I'm gonna press straight arms, dome my rib cage, and then knee into the tricep. Knee into the tricep, get it as high as you can into the tricep. High as you can in the tricep, I'm gonna press it back into a down dog. Left leg comes forward to the outside of the block, runner's lunge. I'm gonna press and dome, float the knee into the tricep. High, round, dome, dome, dome. You get your low belly, and then press it back. And then we're gonna come forward, I'm gonna jump around the block into a wide-legged squat, and then rock it forward and back like a cowboy, or twist it out, twist it out. And then forward fold. Anterior pelvic tilt. Active through both legs. Inhale, come all the way back up. And close the pose, inhale. Exhale, swan dive it forward. Inhaling halfway up. Exhale, plant the hand, step the right foot back, drop the right knee down. Inhale, forward up and back. Exhale, open. Ooh, hip flexor is tight because we've been working it all. We've been trying to strengthen it. Inhale, tall. Windmill the hands down. Come back to all fours, lower down. Cobra. Tuck the toes, press it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg comes up towards the sky, swing away forward runner's lunge. Drop the back knee down. Inhale, forward up and back. Exhale, open. Inhale. Exhale, windmill the hands down. Runner's lunge, rock back and forth, back foot to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way back up. And close the pose. Inhale. Exhale, swan dive it forward. Inhaling halfway up, exhale, plant the hand, step the left foot back, drop the left knee down. Inhale, forward up and back. Exhale, open. Inhale. Exhale, windmill the hands down, step it back, high plank, lower down. Inhaling up dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, press it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg comes up towards the sky. Swing away forward, runner's lunge. Drop the back knee down, forward up and back. Exhale, open. Inhale. Windmill the hands down. Back foot to the top of the mat, forward fold. Take the feet wide, come down for like a malasana, like a wide squat. And kind of rock a twist it out. And then bring the chest, like lift the chest, like pet the elbows. Use the elbows to press the knees wide to open up the inner thighs. And reach the sternum forward. Forward fold, wide-legged forward fold, heel toe the feet together. Inhale, come on up. And close the pose, inhale. Exhale, swan dive it forward. Inhaling halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back, high plank. Lower down, inhaling up dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, press it back, downward facing dog. All right, we're gonna side kick it here. Inhaling, right leg comes up towards the sky. We're gonna side sweep it forward when we come into high plank. So high plank, side kick, forward, woo, elbow, and press it back. gonna side kick it forward into high plank. One more time on the right side. We're gonna side kick it forward. Oh. High plank. Right foot in between the hands, runner's lunge. Come on up, crescent lunge. Ooh. Crescent lunge. Where my hair clip is. Alrighty. Okay. Come forward into warrior three. So fly into warrior three, float the left leg off the mat, right hip pulls back. Here's your hip flexor. I want to focus on hip flexor and outer glute stuff. Now you can take a block underneath your hands because we're going to side kick. We're going to side kick the left leg forward without trying to lean too much over to the right. Yeah, side kick. Yep. Yep, yep. Yeah. I'm going to side kick over to the left. Kick forward, kick forward, kick forward, kick forward, kick forward. And send it back one more time. Side kick, forward, 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 forward. And back. And lower down. All right, come back up. Warrior two. Reverse warrior. And really kind of feel that opening, that inner groin. Straighten out both legs, turn the toes and heels out. Walk it over to the left side. Bend the left knee. Hook the right elbow behind the left knee. Left hand goes over the head. Straighten out the left arm. It's okay if the left knee doesn't get straightened, but try to straighten out both, but straighten out the left arm. If you want to put a block, and you can use the left hand onto a block and you push, but you're trying to twist. Trying to twist, twist, twist. Twist, twist, twist. Walk the hands to the center. Transverse lunge. Bend the right knee. Open. Encourage opening. So walk the feet out wider than you normally would, and then transverse lunge. And get a little deeper into the inner groin, inner thighs. So you want to walk your feet out wider. You want to walk your feet out wider. All right, straighten out both legs. Micro bend in the knee, wide squat. Sink it way back. Bend the knees, reach the arms forward, sink the hips way back. Come forward, straighten out the legs. We're going to go again in that wider transverse lunge. If you can, take the feet even a little bit wider. And go transverse lunge. And if it's available to you, maybe you massage your own, that tightness. There's a muscle that you feel, I feel it pulling from the knee all the way to the inner. I think that's the gracilis. So you can walk your fingers down the gracilis. You'll feel it. It's super tight. And you can really find it and maybe encourage some opening of the gracilis. Hello, little gracilis. Time to release. Come out and play. And release, release, release. We're going to come to froggy pose. Yeah, so you can double up your mat. I have no idea how we started the sequence, but I'm sure I'll remember. I'm going to have to do the other side. Find your froggy pose. Take the knees out as wide as you can. And then shins are parallel, not in a V pointing towards each other. And you are sinking your hips back. And slowly, slowly, slowly come on out. Whew. Ooh. Ooh. All right, we're going to try something new today. We are going to try something new today. Maybe we should do the other side first. Maybe we'll do the other side. I'll move here. I'll move here. Okay. All right, let's get back. Let's find our way selves into down dog. Take your vinyasa or not. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Ooh, I feel like my legs have springs in them. Like I could fly. Inhaling, left leg comes up towards the sky. Ooh. Left foot in between the hands, runner's lunge. Come on up to crescent lunge. Come on up to crescent lunge. We're strengthening our outer hip muscles. We're opening and stretching our inner thighs. We're going to come forward and fly into warrior three. Find that block. Find that block. Drop the hip down. We're going to side kick it forward. Oh, you know what we didn't do? Oh, I know what we didn't do. We're going to side kick it. Yes. Side kick. And then send it back. We're going to side kick. And then send it back. Going to side kick. And we're going to send it back. Lower the leg down. Step it back, high plank. Take your vinyasa. Inhaling up dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, press it back. Downward facing dog. We forgot side kick plank. Inhale, left leg comes up towards the sky. Side kick plank. And press it back. Why do I feel like we've done this side? Did we do this side? No, right? Side kick plank. And send it back. And side kick plank. and send it back. Left foot in between the hands, runner's lunge. Come on up. Now we're gonna go to warrior two. I'll flip around so you can see me. Then we're gonna go to warrior two. Ooh. This inner thigh should feel less tight because we did a lot more inner thigh than before we did warrior two on the other side. So you should be able to go a little bit more deeper because we've already kind of been here before. Reverse warrior. You should be able to go deeper on this side, on the inner thigh. Straighten out the left leg, toes in, heels out. Go for the right leg, bend the right knee. Hook left elbow behind the right knee. Straighten it out, right arm over, and really use that as a kickstand to press, press, press. So lean the weight forward onto the right hand and twist, twist, twist. Transverse lunge. Okay, we're gonna do transverse lunge. We're gonna take it a little wider. Walk the left foot out a little wider. Now bend. Ooh. There we go. Now transverse lunge, bend the left knee, straighten the right leg. Get a little bit wider, transverse lunge, and then use your fingers to massage the gracilis, which is that super tight muscle, and really dig into that and find it. All the way up from, it should feel like the restriction is right around, attaches by the knee, and then you can walk yourself back, 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 back. Reach your hands towards the right toes. All right. Second round of froggy, should go deeper. So take that wide squat, send your hips back, reach your arms forward, rock forward, and then find your second round of froggy and go deeper with the froggy. You're gonna sink your hips back with every breath. Oh, and slowly come on out of that. Ooh, ooh. Ah, hello. All right, now we're ready to try something new. Well, let's see. Yeah, we'll do a couple more prep things and then we go try something new. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, so now we are going to go back to our down dog. We're gonna go back to our down dog. We're gonna do side kick chaturanga, but we're actually gonna side kick chaturanga. Remember, chaturanga goes forward. So we're gonna go side kick actually to Kundayasana too, flying splits. So it's actually very similar to the action that we've been doing. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do one-legged down dog to side kick chaturanga, and then press it back. Actually, I think this is harder than actually just going straight to Kundayasana too. So do 3 of those, and then when you're ready, you just got to think forward. Just go more forward than you think you do. You're going to go not down, but forward. And you're just going to sweep the leg all the way until you rest it onto your tricep in your chaturanga arm. So go way forward than you think you need to go. Don't down forward. Yeah. Just more forward. I don't know if the bed's in the way, Anjali. But you're just going to kick it all the way. So you just you got to bend your elbows, Uday. Right. So this is chaturanga. So this is a little bit of where that strength work needs to happen, right? Because actually, let's do that. We'll just go from one-legged down dog to chaturanga side kick. Because you got to, as soon as you start moving forward, you're bending your elbows, right? Because it's going to chaturanga. Oh. Right, so we're going from one-legged down dog to side kick. Whoa. Going from one-legged down dog, and you have to go forward. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot of glute. There's a lot of coordination. There's a lot of strength. More forward, like landing an airplane. Yeah. Do you see, Uday, how you went kind of forward and then the airplane like dropped 1,000 feet to go down? Right. I mean, the airplane's got to come in for a smooth landing, right? So as the airplane, so you got one-legged down dog and you got to land the airplane on a nice gradual descent. That's the idea. So what I notice, Uday, is that when you start coming forward, your arms are straight. Yeah, so I'll show here. So when you come forward right now, you're coming forward like this, and then you're trying to bend. And so now gravity is like, there's too much. It's taking on too much. So like, if I were going to plot like the force and the height from the height, if I was going to plot the force and the height from the ground, right, you're doing this. And then so now you're distributing the force of you getting from here to here over a shorter distance, right? So when the airplane lands, we don't want to go here and then like, it's too much and then the plane crashes, right? That's why you're crashing your chaturanga. So we want to actually stretch out the plane landing, right? The slope of the plane landing is going to be less negative because you start from here and you start bending your elbows. That's where bent arm strength comes into play. Right, that's where we need to like that balance of like strength is like, okay, as soon as I move, I am rolling, see, I'm bending my elbows and rolling forward. Right? Bend the elbows, forward, kick forward, more forward. Yeah, that's better. Right? Did you feel the plane didn't crash because you spread out the descent? Yeah, there you go, Anjali. Look at that. Right, it's just you're adding. We did a lot of inner thigh, outer thigh strength. You're basically adding on your airplane descent. It's the same. Surprise, surprise, it's a serratus. Right, that's what bent arm strength. So it's the same when we do exercises around like here, and then to dolphin, and then to here, or dolphin to chaturanga. It's that action. It's that strength. So to find those muscles, if you went from dolphin to chaturanga, that would build up those muscles. Yeah. Okay. So now that we have that, let's see. We're gonna handstand puppy. No, not quite puppy handstand. We're gonna do one-legged handstand with the leg already out. It's gonna challenge your brain and your strength and your muscles in all kinds of different ways. So I have no idea if I can do this or not. I actually don't know. So you're gonna start with hands on the ground, but your right leg lifted to the side. Yeah. So my right leg is already lifted out to the side. And you can try a handstand. Yeah. So one, it takes like half the, because before, right, you can use two legs and you can jump, you can make handstand. It takes out one of your little engines for momentum, and it forces you to use the strength, right? Plus it changes your brain and it challenges your body in a different way. So you're gonna lift your right leg out to the side. Yeah. And then you're just gonna use, and you can hop with your left leg, but it really, right, because now you don't have two legs to hop. You got to really focus on your serratus. You got to really focus on the strength of your muscle, your arm strength. And the thing is, your right leg is out to the side. Yeah. And then so now you got to use the power of your left leg and your belly and your core to pull your hips towards the wall. So you want to keep your right leg out to the side like a side kick, and it forces you less momentum, more about your muscles, your serratus. There you go. Nice, Charlie. Right? It feels different. It feels different. So instead of back here, your right leg is out to the side. I got to use my serratus. My balance point is different, right? We're just changing it up in so many different ways. That's it. There you go. But your balance point, because your right leg is out to the side, is different. So you got to figure out and find awareness in your body, how to balance. Right? It's just changing it up. It's just changing it up. Because handstands look too easy for y'all. So we got to change it up. All right. Now, where were we? Oh, yes. So if you tried a couple times, let's see, Uday, out to the side, right leg out to the side. Yep. Walk the feet in a little closer, right? Because the goal is to get the hips over the shoulders. Yep. And then use your core. Bend the left knee. So your power legs. Yeah. Yeah. But do you see how floppy your upper body is, Uday? Right? I mean, it just brings the awareness that, okay, what muscles do I need to, nice. What muscles do I need to focus on? My serratus, my upper back muscles, my arm muscles, right? That needs to be more activated before you start kicking. So really get your serratus, your trapezius, your back muscles, your core, all the core muscles that we worked on. It's not about the legs, right? It's about the low belly. We want to get the hips to the wall. So I'm going to, as if I took my hand and I smashed your belly against the wall. It's not about the legs. I want to push your low belly against the wall. The hips have got to, your glutes have got to go to the wall. So how do I use my hip flexors to do that? And my that's better. Right? More solid, less flop. Yep. That's the idea. Kick the right toes to the wall. There you go. Yep, better. Almost. But you see how those three were very different, much better than the first couple, because the first couple was like a wiggly noodle I was trying to get up. But like I could see, Uday, I could see, I think you felt it. I could see like at least it's a one solid like pole trying to move to the wall. So it was already a big difference. Okay, let's go to the other side. Okay, so down dog, kick to Kundinyasana 2. So down dog, one-legged down dog to chaturanga with the side kick. So actually, let's start with down dog, down to dolphin. A nice float down to dolphin. From dolphin, can you roll forward to chaturanga? Because that's the action. From dolphin, can you roll forward into chaturanga? And then back into dolphin. Now that's a strength. I could tell you 6 months ago I couldn't do that. But that's a strength. But that's the action. That's the rolling forward to Kundinyasana 2. Is that. That's a strength. That's a strength and awareness piece. So now we'll try one-legged down dog to chaturanga, but it's that same rolling forward action. As soon as you, basically, before you move, you got to start bending your elbows and move forward. So when I come forward, I'm moving into chaturanga. I'm side kicking forward. So you can prep down dog to chaturanga, side kick, down dog to chaturanga, or you can just go straight for Kundinyasana 2. Remember, the airplane has to go on this nice gradual descent, or it's too much force hitting your arms all at once. Yeah, and if you want, yeah, do it with a bent knee. If it's easier to do with a bent knee, do it with bent knee. I find it easier with a straight leg. Yeah, look at that, Charlie. That's awesome. Side kick, side kick, side kick. Yeah, so Uday, when you come forward, so right now you're coming forward, and then the last quarter, you're swinging the leg forward. And again, that's too much weight distribution. The weight of your leg coming forward over 25% of the distance is too much. So same thing, as soon as you come forward, the elbows bend gradually, the leg comes forward gradually to spread the force out. Control is harder. Control is harder. So roll forward. So start bending your elbows, start kicking your leg forward. Kick your leg forward, kick your leg forward, kick your leg more forward, more, because you have to finish. By the time you're in chaturanga, your leg has to be done. So the velocity, the speed of your leg coming forward is too slow right now. Right? This is why if you get a scientist for a yoga teacher, I will start talking derivatives. DT, what is it? Speed over, what's over DT? Time? Distance over time. Yeah, so derivative of distance over time. Come on. Like, so you need to increase your speed of the leg because it has to land at the same time. Your leg has to land at the same time as when you hit chaturanga. You see how it's too slow? See, it's still way back there. So like, and it'll actually help you. I mean, the little bit of momentum. So so right here, your leg coming forward, and I'm like, look, you're already in chaturanga, your leg's back there, and then you have to move the leg forward. That's too much. That's a lot more work than if you kick the leg forward, right? Because your leg has to go from all the way back there to all the way forward here in the same amount of time as you hit chaturanga. So your left leg has to swing more forward. Faster, Uday, faster. Leg velocity. With control. Kick, come on, almost, better. Did you see how you got your leg right? And it was like this far away from your tricep. So a little bit more acceleration. Either decelerate your chaturanga, which is going to be harder, or accelerate your leg coming forward. That's your hip flexor strength. Come on, faster. Kick the zoom, kick me over here. Nice, Anjali. Go faster, kick it faster. Do you see it's two actions right now? Yeah, like, so you're going to kick a soccer ball. Okay, kick a soccer ball with your left foot. One more time, and then we'll go to handstand. Poor Uday's probably sweating. Yes! Touchdown! Look at that! Nice. Okay, handstand. Handstand with what from a side, from a your left leg and a side kick. Yeah. So left leg out to the side. Okay, that's probably the longest I've held like a freestanding handstand, let alone one with the leg on the side, but okay. It forces you to have to really think about your core and your posterior pelvic tilt, right? Because it just means that when we're doing handstand, we're strong enough that we cheat, right? We're just strong enough that we use momentum and we cheat. So what this does is this slowly takes away, nice, Uday. This slowly takes away your access to momentum. Nice. So probably closer, get your hips undulate closer to the wall, because right now you're trying to get into handstand like from a down dog, right? And that's harder because your hips are further away. So if I'm here trying to side kick, it's really going to be hard to get, because I have to move my hips all the way forward, right? So the more you can actually compress to the more you compress. So less from a down dog, Charlie, and like shorter distance between your feet and your hands. And that will help you get your hips. Yeah, that'll help you get your hips over your shoulders. Because that's what handstand is we're just stacking. So think less about kicking. Your powerhouse is in your low belly. Pull, your powerhouse is low belly and hip flexors. Your belly and your hip flexors are going to pull your hips to the wall. So imagine my back was against the wall and I had my hands on your hips and I'm really trying to pull them into the wall. That's how handstand happens. Or if I was shoving your low belly and smashing it into the wall. All right. When you're ready, you can, let's see. Now we've got both legs. There are a couple of different options. You can do one of many different options. Straddle, because now we've got both legs, we've got side leg, like having one leg, having both legs out to the side makes it easier because you're not asymmetrical. So there's a couple of things that you can do. And we can work backwards from it, right? Like this is, I mean, this is all work that goes up to like straddle press handstand, which is, you know, a lifelong goal for me. So you can start on blocks. I have my bolster. I'm going to use a bit of, instead of jumping, or you can use jumping, but like, you know, no blocks on the hands, roll forward, right? Let's see. Or on blocks, I'm going to use the bolster to help me. So I just get a little bit of rolling momentum. Right. This took, I don't know, a year and a half. The other thing to do is to actually practice on, because it takes the strength of this and your hip flexors. The other way to do is to train it coming down. So you can jump. You can jump to straddle handstand. And then build up the strength coming down. So you want to go through your anterior pelvic tilt, posterior pelvic tilt, and really use the strength to resist coming down and going as slowly as possible, right? By pulling your hips against the wall. So like, can you peel yourself down as slow as you can by keeping pulling into the wall? That's going to work on hip flexor strength and building up hip flexor strength to be able to do straddle press handstand. Because straddle press handstand, or actually basically handstand without momentum. Handstand without momentum is low belly and compression. Compression comes from the hip flexors. Hold on, my dog's whining. Come here, Wally. Come on in. Come on in, Wally. So like, to get into handstand without momentum is all about compression. Compression, right? Because compression, right? If you think about handstand is really about getting your hips over your shoulders. That's it, right? Your hips goes over your shoulders. We use momentum because we have to jump to get the hips over the shoulders. You can do two things. You can either shorten the distance between your hips to your shoulders, so you need less momentum and less force eventually. So no momentum, less force. How do we get to compression into a sandwich? Hip flexor strength. So if any of that is just like, because that's what we're working on, is to be able to compress here, right? If we come forward and the shoulders move away from the hips, right? So I come forward, my shoulders go forward the same distance as my hips, and I haven't actually done anything. I'm actually trying to decrease the distance from my shoulders to my hips. That's from hip flexor and low belly. Like I make a sandwich. Right. So it helps if you have a pillow, Anjali, to fall into. And so what I'm doing is, when I'm doing that, is that I get a little bit of momentum by my hips falling forward. That helps me throw my legs up. Yeah. Yeah, there you go, Charlie. That's it. That's the idea. You got it. There you go. Nice. Nice. Yeah, you're just like, almost like you're falling upwards, like your hips are falling upwards. So Anjali, it might help if you move further away from the wall, because then you have some space to fall up the wall. It's helpful to have a bolster so the wall is not so hard. You can even put a pillow or a cushion. Oh, you do have one. Oh, I see. It's just blended into the wall. So yeah, you can walk, yeah, go further back, and it's just like literally you just fall forward. You fall, and then your hips roll up towards, roll up the wall, right? Yep. Mm-hmm. You got it. I know you're scared. It's okay. Yeah. But you got to compress. So what you do is you take the momentum falling forward, and as you're falling forward, you like core, and then your legs, your hips fall up the wall. So you like catch. It's like you catch the momentum, right? You catch the momentum. As you feel the momentum, you squeeze your belly, and then your hips and your legs go up the wall. There you go. And you can do a little hop. So like you fall forward and you hop at the same time, and your legs will go forward. Yeah, that's it, that's it, that's it. There you go. That's the idea. Yay! That's it. That's the idea. That's the idea. Yeah. Right. So right now we're using momentum to help us a little bit, because we don't necessarily have the strength or the compression to be able to do that. But as we build up the strength, it's going to take less momentum. As we decrease the distance, because we have more strength, you'll need less force to actually get the hips over the shoulders, right? Right now, it feels like it takes a lot of strength. Like when I first tried to do this, it's like, I don't understand how I could possibly have the strength to get into straddle. I don't understand. And then over time, it feels lighter. It feels lighter, not because it's 100% I got stronger and I'm like muscling through it, but it feels lighter because the distance that I have to close, right, from my shoulders, my hips over my shoulders is less. So if the distance is shorter that I have to close, then I use less strength. And so that's why it feels lighter over time. I am getting stronger, but not proportional to the distance that I close. I actually just have to use less strength. So we'll do some, in another class, we'll do some more of some exercises, but I think I've shown you guys this before, like the drills to get to really working on distance is straddle walks, which before I couldn't do this, and I don't know, we'll see. But like basically it's like you have to like this, right? Because basically you're trying to close the distance and practice closing that distance and holding it. And I can tell you a year, 2 years ago, I'm like, I don't understand. Right? Like before I was hopping or, it's like basically I wasn't using the muscles, but now I'm starting to like, oh, I can build the strength to close the gap. And like Udi's just like, look, he's just like, look, I'm just going to hang out upside down. Right? It's like, it's almost like the door opened. All of a sudden the door opened. Like before, I'm like, there's not even fathoming how to do that. And now it's like, oh, I might not be able to do it without props, but I can feel where this is going. I can feel like how I could potentially get lift off, right? That's how I feel. I don't know if that's how you guys feel about it. Like, oh, I know where this is going, that there's hope, you can see where the door is. So yay, how exciting. Okay. All right. Lots of great work today. Let's straddle, stretch it out. Your straddle should be like sitting like this is very easy for me today, like so much easier, right? Because we've just worked our straddle so much. Coming onto the side, we did not work our low back, so that's why I can't touch my toes right now on the days that we work the low back, right? No problem. And today was not that day. And then we crawl and make our pizza and come to the other side. Right, straddle is much easier today. Still, I'm not like anywhere flat on my, there's people that can just like go to sleep right here. It's not gonna be me anytime. Well, we'll see. Keep working on it, right, Wally? Okay. All right. So we need to do some bridge to kind of open up because we did a lot of compressing with the hip flexors. So wheel, bridge. So basically any bridge, wheel. Remember we did like these are all the opposite, the counter poses for all the things that we did today. So bridge is not going to be as open. Maybe we do passive bridge. Maybe you can use a block, take it lengthwise. Oh, passive. Maybe you can straighten your legs. Oh. And when you're ready, just come on down. Oh. Extending the legs out long, taking the arms overhead. This is quiet time, Kiki, quiet time, okay. Slowly bring your arms down by your side, palms facing up towards the, ow, that's not very nice. And allow all of the hard work that you did today sink in. All the new brain waves, the brain patterns, the knowledge. Why are you stepping on my forehead? It's not nice. I'm gonna break mommy's arm, honey. Slowly roll over to one side, keeping your eyes closed. Pressing up yourself to seated, moving your sit bones into the earth. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Clasping palms together. Bringing them to heart center, bowing forward, namaste.